We now turn our attention to the live action that's about to get underway inside the ring here at the historic Forum in Inglewood, California, featuring 32-year-old, three-division champion Jorge Linares. 11-0 since last tasting defeat back in 2012. Tonight, Linares puts his lightweight title on the line against Luke Campbell, the Englishman who's looking to add a world title to his Olympic gold medal that he won in 2012. But before we get to Linares versus Campbell, let's take a look at some upcoming sports programming here on HBO. Immediately following tonight's telecast, stick around for an encore presentation of my show, The Fight Game. If you missed any part of Canelo Golovkin earlier in tonight's telecast, you can catch it in its entirety Sunday at 9 a.m. Real Sports returns Tuesday night with a profile of three-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton. And back on the boxing side, we have a pair of Boxing After Dark coming your way. First up, a doubleheader featuring Jezreel Corrales versus Alberto Machado, and the 118-pound unification bout between Ryan Burnett and Zanat Zakianov. Then in November, Sergey the Crusher Kovalev makes his return to the ring against Slava Shabransky. For a full rundown of the upcoming sports calendar and much more, log on to HBO.com. And now we bring you back live to the Forum in Inglewood, California, where as we get ready for Linares versus Campbell, we have a special guest with an announcement to make. You just looked at two of the top middleweights in the world in Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez. Here's the third big name in the middleweight division, Daniel Jacobs of Brooklyn, New York, who himself snapped Gennady Golovkin's 23-fight knockout streak by going the distance with him in March of this year in Madison Square Garden. Daniel, good to see you again. I understand that you have an announcement to make.
A really big one, Jim. Well, it's good to be back. First of all, it's good to see you. But my announcement is I'm with the family. I'm with HBO now. I just signed an amazing multi-fight contract with HBO and Eddie Hearns and Matchroom Boxing, and I'm going to be displaying my skills on HBO now. So it's a great opportunity for me, and most importantly, it's a great opportunity for the fans. I want to thank the fans for always supporting me, especially that last one. You know, they always wanted to see me back in, and now I have this great opportunity with this platform here at stake. It's going to be a tremendous, tremendous time for me in my career. It's almost as if it's a new start for me. We're going to be fighting in New York early November, and you guys are going to see me on a constant basis from this point on. It's going to be awesome.
So you'll be fighting on HBO in November?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the fold. You watched Canelo versus Golovkin. What was your response to that fight?
Well, I had Triple G winning by at least 3 rounds. It was a competitive fight, but I thought Canelo fought in spurts. I didn't think he fought enough to actually, even the close rounds, I didn't think he fought enough to edge a close round, and especially with the decision from 110 to 118. That was absurd, but this is boxing. Ultimately, you know, things like that happen. But both guys put their best foot forward, and that's what you expect from top guys like that. I'm just looking forward to getting back in there and displaying my skills against those guys and more. Yeah, I'm sure Gennady will be happy that you saw him as the winner of the fight. Maybe you'll get to see him again face-to-face at some point down the road. Thank you, Daniel. Congratulations and welcome. Thank you. All right. So now let's turn our attention as you look at that graphic, the return of Daniel Jacobs coming to World Championship Boxing in November on HBO. Put him into the mix of the top middleweights who are already fighting on this particular network. Now we get ready for Jorge Linares defending his World Championship in the lightweight division against Luke Campbell. What an amazing career Linares has had, Max. What does he mean to the sport at this point?
He's such an interesting character because early in his career his talent was so obvious that it was curious that somehow the whole never seemed to be as much as the sum of its parts. The whole was less than the sum of its parts somehow. The DeMarco fight, he's beating the hell out of DeMarco. He's looking like $1 million, and then somehow he loses. Was it because his skin fell apart or because his defense did? Whatever it was, he wasn't getting the results. And so he hooks up with a top Cuban amateur trainer who trained the Cuban national team for 15 years. And now he seems fundamentally much better than ever. He seems to be coming into his prime and now has a lightweight belt. We're in for a good one tonight because he's defending it against an Olympic champion, a gold medalist. So I really look forward to seeing how good Linares is and how consistently he can apply those skills.
Particularly because Campbell brings an interesting style into the fight. Roy Jones, Linares is a finesse boxer and a brilliant one. Campbell is a very tall for the division, southpaw, body puncher. It's not a combination we see all that often. How how big a challenge is that style going to present to Jorge Linares?
It's going to be a very difficult style for Linares because Linares is a cute guy who's a very brilliant boxer. However, it's always hard to outbox a tall opponent. The guys who are taller and he's southpaw, everything is the opposite of what you're used to facing. Then to add to it, he's going to have a bigger frame, a heavier guy tonight, and he's a puncher. So Linares' hands are truly full in tonight's fight.
Campbell had trouble making weight yesterday, but ultimately nailed it at the 135-pound limit. So we'll see what happens when he gets into the ring with the slightly smaller Linares. Right now, let's go up to ring announcer Joe Martinez for a special moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday this week, the boxing world lost one of its all-time greats with the passing of former world champion Jake LaMotta. LaMotta, who captured the 160-pound crown in 1949, became widely known for his impetuous style that earned him the nickname the Raging Bull. He passed away due to complications of pneumonia at the age of 95. At this time, we ask that you please rise in silence as we pay the toll, the final 10 count for the champ, the Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta. Thank you, and may he rest in peace.
Jake LaMotta. Max Kellerman credits him with having the greatest chin in boxing history. Now let's look at the tail of the tape for Jorge Linares against Luke Campbell. And you see the 3-year age advantage for Campbell, who took a long time to turn pro after his lengthy amateur career. 2-inch height advantage for the English fighter. Arm length advantage of a ½ inch measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They both weighed in under the 135-pound limit, and tonight, surprisingly, because Campbell had so much trouble making weight, he rehydrates only up to 144, while Linares will slightly outweigh him unofficially at 145.8.
To make his way to the ring, fighting out of the blue corner from the United Kingdom, Luke Campbell!
In his last fight, he defeated the South American veteran Darlis Perez by KO to earn the right to be fighting Linares here tonight. Won his gold medal at the London Olympics in 2012, winning on British soil, and publicity describes him, and he describes himself, as the most decorated amateur boxer in English history.
And yet he has a new nutritionist, and they had a new way of losing that weight. Of course, in modern boxing, the day before weigh-ins means that fighters can rehydrate to a much higher weight. And he was struggling, it seems, to make weight yesterday. And didn't wind up meeting with us as a result.
Fighting out of the red corner, former 4-time world champion in 3 divisions from Venezuela, Jorge Linares!
Roy Jones, it's a tribute to Linares' amazing skill that he's won 42 out of 45 fights. He's won every fight he has ever finished. But the downside is a weak chin and cellophane-like skin, which rips open and bleeds like virtually no other fighter in the sport.
Yeah, the cuts have been a problem for him, Jim. He's one hell of a guy, though. One of the top pound boxers in my eyes, and I love to see him work.
Started his career in Japan when he was taken to Japan at age 17 from Venezuela. And after having left Japan about 5 or 6 years ago, he has been the ultimate globetrotter, fighting here in the United States, fighting elsewhere around the world, winning 3 fights on English soil against English fighters, hopes to nail another English opponent tonight. Let's go to ring announcer Joe Martinez for the official introductions.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, live around the world on HBO's Boxing After Dark from the fabulous forum here in the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. It is time for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA, WBC Diamond Ring Magazine Lightweight Championship of the World. Promoted by Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, Matchroom Boxing, and Taken Promotions. Presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. Sponsored by Casa Mexico, it's in the taste. Fred Loya Insurance, put Fred Loya in your corner. And Marvel Studios, Thor Ragnarok, in theaters November 3rd. This bout is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Executive Officer Andy Foster, Chairman John Carvelli, WBC President Mauricio Suleiman with Supervisor in attendance Mo Noor, and WBA Supervisor Robert Mack. The three judges scoring this bout at ringside of the 10-point must system: Max DeLuca, Victor Lachlan, and Zach Young. And when the bell rings, referee in charge of the action, Jack Reeves. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the judges are ready, the fighters are ready, the world is ready. Los Angeles, make some noise if you are ready! Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing blue trunks trimmed in white, he weighed in officially 134 3/4 pounds. In 18 professional bouts, he has an outstanding record, standing at 17 victories, including 14 knockouts and 1 defeat. Here is the 2012 Olympic gold medalist, the current WBC silver lightweight champion from Hull, Yorkshire, UK. Here is Cool Hand Luke Campbell. And next his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing camouflage, trimmed in orange, he weighed in 134 1/4 pounds. In 45 professional bouts, his record, an impressive 42 victories, 3 defeats, 27 big wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando de Barranitas, Venezuela, the former WBC Featherweight World Champion, WBA Super Featherweight Champion, WBC Lightweight World Champion. He is the current, reigning, defending WBA Ring Magazine Lightweight Champion of the World, El Niño de Oro, Jorge Linares.
Y sale moviendo tu cabeza. Bien, bien. Ojito. Vamos allá. Vamos allá, cojones. Okay, Jorge.
Luke, Jesus. Jorge. Okay, these trunks, both of them are extremely high. I'm going to let both fighters work in here. Mouthpiece. I gave you both instructions in the dressing room. I just want to remind you, listen and obey my commands at all time. Protect yourself at all time. Fight hard, fight clean. Good luck to both of you.
Jorge Linares is the lineal lightweight champion of the world. At least he is attempting to establish his own lineage.
Anybody?
But, you know, whether or not Mikey Garcia is even still in the division anymore remains to be seen. He's also trying to establish, though, a consensus that he is, in fact, the best lightweight in the world. And here he has an Olympic gold medalist in front of him, a tall, rangy southpaw. It's no easy trick to beat him.
Not every division has a Ring Magazine champion, but Linares has earned the Ring Magazine championship in this division. Immediately as he gets into the ring, you can see the difference in length, height, range between him and Campbell.
The Ring Magazine is owned by Golden Boy, a promoter, so you can take their championships with a grain of salt. However, their championship policy is legit and produces, you know, when you see a Ring Magazine champion, it's because they earned it. They are, in fact, by most lights, the champion.
Roy, I believe you were the Ring Magazine champion in 2 different divisions.
Yep.
What do you see early here?
Well, I see Linares trying to figure him out, but he got to make sure he doesn't walk into a big shot from Luke Campbell, because Luke is long, Luke is range, and Luke is fighting a very smart fight as well. So we'll have to see what happens, see what kind of power Luke can display, because if he can't keep Linares off of him, then it'll be a hard night for him.
Linares, though the older fighter, should have the advantage in hand speed. It's an asset he brings to every fight.
Sometimes when a fighter like Linares, who's so naturally gifted, early in his career seems to come out short in some fights he's supposed to win, it's because those gifts, those physical gifts, mask only a superficial boxing skill. And then later, in Linares' case, going with Ismael Salas, the Guantanamo amateur team's head coach for a bunch of years. They get with a really good trainer. They learn some of those fundamentals that they missed early and are able to put it all together. Linares wouldn't be the first, but it's really something to see when that happens, because then the natural talent comes together with the technical skill.
In fact, both of these fighters are trained by Cuban trainers. Jorge Rubio is the trainer for Luke Campbell. He worked with Cuban amateurs. Ismael Salas was in the Cuban program for a long, long time. So they both are trained by people who come from pretty much the capital of technical skills in boxing.
And you can tell right now, Jim, by the way they're fighting, how smart they are, by the technical moves that they're making. They're not making stupid moves. Both guys are making very educated boxing moves as they proceed through round one.
Campbell with a right hook. Landed on the shoulder of Linares. Linares with that quick jab up the middle. Campbell firing his left hand straight up the middle. Southpaw against a conventional fighter. Always the possibility of headbutts. Logic tells you any accidental butt in the fight would create an advantage for Campbell because of the way Linares bleeds.
Breathe. Well, now you saw that the key to this all is to work with your left hand, okay? He doesn't like it to the body. Now you touched him already. You touched him with the hook. You touched him with the jab. Okay? Now, working with a double jab in the right, okay? Because he's throwing, now that he's fast, he's just throwing after you throw that jab. He's throwing you with a jab, okay? So,
keep your hand up, keep your hand up. And remember, don't hit because he's waiting for you for he go back and hit you. Okay? Be smart, okay? Keep your hand up. Okay? You see your wrist?
Right, number 2. Luke, number 2.
Jack Reese, veteran referee. Pretty much the #1 guy, or seems to be, when you're with the California State Athletic Commission. They have a new, relatively young referee here named Thomas Taylor, who is proving to do some really good work. But Reese is the main event referee here tonight.
Guys, remember when Linares fought Oscar Larios back in 2007? Larios was putting pressure on him. He was a veteran fighter, and Linares danced around the ring. He was gliding like a, just danced around the ring, looking so beautiful with that kind of lateral boxing movement and beautiful combinations. And here he has to be aggressor. And he seems comfortable being the aggressor at this point in his career when he needs to be.
The thing I like about Linares is that he's a comfortable, complete fighter, Max. He can do whatever is necessary to win a fight. The only problem he has is being able to stay in there for the full distance.
He's won every fight that he's ever finished. Good exchange. And when knocked out by, for instance, DeMarco, he was leading in the DeMarco fight when knocked out 89-81, 89-81, 88-82. He had won virtually every round.
His skin just fell apart in that fight. And I remember early in the fight, I believe I said it on the broadcast, Jim, he looked like Sugar Ray Robinson, you know? He was doing everything so beautifully and naturally. And how a guy loses a fight like that when he looks that way early on is just amazing. He's steadied the ship since then.
In the 11-fight win streak that he's constructed coming in here, some writers and reporters have begun to see him flirting with the pound-for-pound top 10. Obviously, Roy, you think he's a legitimate candidate for pound-to-pound top 10.
Yeah, because he can do so many things, Jim. He has punching power. He has beautiful footwork. He has great hand speed. He has a pretty good defense. Like, look at the hook right there. You don't see many guys time those type of hooks. You know, right in the middle of another guy's combination, he throws a hook that lands right on the mark.
So if he were to lose to Campbell tonight, wouldn't be the most massive upset in history, but it would be an upset.
Oh,
down goes Campbell on a right hand by Linares. Perfect combination.
Yes, it was.
6,
Like I told you, Jimmy, he's a true fighter.
Are you okay? Hands up in the air.
Linares
Walk
looks
to me.
so sharp tonight, guys. Look at the defense. What was missing earlier in his career was good technical defense with some depth, not just one or two perfunctory moves. His defense is as sharp as his offense.
Yes, sir. And that's why, like I said before, Max, he has all of the necessary tools to put him atop the pound-for-pound list. Not on top of it, but in the top 10.
The publicity materials from Matchroom Boxing of Great Britain tell us that Luke Campbell has never been cut before. He's cut right now. And Roy Jones, what's it like when you've never ever been cut and you feel that blood streaming down your face?
It's very different, Jim. It's something you're not used to and something that you don't get used to or that you don't want to get used to.
Tremendous round for Jorge Linares. We sang his praises, covered him with glory. He paid it off with the knockdown of Luke Campbell.
Don't let that he bring you back, I told you. Yeah. Don't let that he bring you back. You need to hit him first. Okay? You need to hit him first. You are waiting too much for him. Okay? You are waiting too much for him. Don't go to the rope. You need to go and move your leg and move beside him. Hit him more. Look and keep your hand up. Remember, I told you be careful with the left hook all the time. Keep your hand up because he's coming with the left hook. Okay?
PC Linares come in with a right hand lead, pauses, which is what I like to do against southpaw, come back with a hook right hand. The right hand came right down the pipe as Luke was trying to as Luke was trying to counter. Once again, hook right hand just as Luke was trying to counter, and it caught him kind of off balance, but right down the pipe, a great punch for a knockdown.
Luke was trying to Campbell. The problem was Jorge Linares.
He got Linares. The tremendous hand speed of Jorge Linares setting up that knockdown in round number 2. And we repeat, Luke Campbell, according to the publicity from Matchroom Boxing, has never before been cut. He's got a cut under his right eye now on the right cheek. Very similar to the cut that Cassius Clay produced on the cheekbone of Sonny Liston February 22, 1965, or February 25, 1964 in Miami Beach.
So far, the names Ray Robinson and Cassius Clay have come up. How about this one, Roy? You know who he is. Not that Linares is exactly like this guy, but the way he's fighting as an aggressive sort of counterpuncher in a way reminds me of Donald Curry in the mid-'80s, the welterweight champ.
With just a few more weapons. He has a few more weapons than Donald has, but you're right. This is exactly how Donald did it. And Donald was very sharp with his counterpunches.
You saw Linares use his legs and his balance to try to stay away from Luke Campbell's 3 left-hand shots over the top, and then Linares calmly stepped forward and landed a right up the middle. There's a good body shot by Luke Campbell. That's his stock and trade, firing to the body from that tall stance.
And you can't count Luke out just because he's been down, because he's still fighting. He is an amateur gold medalist, and those people usually have quite a background and they have big hearts.
Yeah, what's impressive to me is when a fighter is fighting aggressively, as Linares is, and this round he's been hit with a couple body shots, but by and large, he's picking off all the shots as he's coming in and landing his own. Incredibly frustrating for the other guy who wants to be a counterpuncher.
His hands are so much faster. He's just able to do what he wants so much more quickly than Campbell can in there because of that enormous hand speed.
And the Cuban defense. You know, the Cuban school, it's not just using your legs, it's picking off shots responsibly.
But both of them have Cuban coaches in their corner, so you gotta be careful of Luke, because Luke is still dangerous.
Campbell with some good shots here in round number 3. Starting to get a little bit more comfortable in the fight, starting to time Linares just a little bit better.
And Linares better stop standing still right there waiting on Luke, because Luke is longer than he seems.
A gold medalist now, you know, that's the real deal.
Straight right hand down the middle for Linares. Southpaw against conventional fighter, you expect to see straight right hands from Linares, straight left hands from Campbell. We're seeing that as the fight progresses.
Look at the defense from Linares. Head movement, hands in proper position, moving his legs to get out of the way of the counters, and then landing his own shots.
Combination punching by Jorge Linares of Venezuela. Living right now in London after a stint living in Las Vegas. Truly an international fighter. Never expects to live in Venezuela again. October 21 on Boxing After Dark, Jezreel Corrales defends his 130-pound title against Alberto Machado. That same night, we bring you the 118-pound unification between Ryan Burnett and Zanat Zakianov. Yeah, in November on World Championship Boxing, Daniel Jacobs returns to the ring for the first time since his close fight with Gennady Golovkin, March in Madison Square Garden. And November 25 on BAD, former light heavyweight champion Sergey Kovalev returns to the ring following his hard-fought back-to-back fights with Andre Ward to face Slava Shabransky. Roy Jones, in the light heavyweight division, psychologically, what does it do for Kovalev now that Andre Ward has retired from the ring?
It makes him feel like he's possibly the second best light heavyweight in the world and maybe the best active light heavyweight in the world right now.
So it'll boost his confidence a little bit.
It should boost his confidence a little bit.
What were the odds after the way that fight ended that it would be Ward who retired and Kovalev who kept going?
All right, we've got our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman, ready to bring us up to date on his score in this boxing match. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, I got it 2 rounds to 1. 29, 27, Jorge Linares. You know, Jim, he's a terrific fighter. He's a heck of a puncher. He's aggressive. He comes forward. Good defense. Lands real hard shots. He's got Campbell cut. He knocked him down already with a right hand. I'll tell you, I'm very, very impressed with Jorge Linares. The way this fight is going, it wouldn't surprise me if Linares knocks it out. 2 rounds to 1, Jorge Linares.
I got Linares winning all 3 rounds pretty easily, especially the big second round, but I'll say this. Campbell's having his best round so far here in the 4th.
And Campbell's landing some beautiful body shots along the way here too, Max, and that's very important.
Body shots are like investments. They pile up over time. If Linares begins to slow down in the 9th, 10th, or 11th rounds, if we get that far, it will be partially the product of what Campbell is trying to do, banking on body shots early in the fight.
Linares also not neglecting the body.
And watching for the left hand. He blocked that one with his right glove. Now so Campbell goes back to the body.
Here's the kind of fight that earlier in Linares' career could wind up being dangerous for him. He looked so good early, and then somehow some things would fray along the edges and wind up losing.
And Max, this still is not out of the way of that happening again.
That's right. So Campbell's having, okay, Linares is still winning the round. He landed a beautiful left uppercut, but he's been hit a couple times early in this round.
Linares seems to have a pretty good feel for the distance. Most of the time, he's making Campbell reach for it. Every once in a while, steps in a little too close, and Campbell gets a chance to land something solid.
I just see some holes now in Linares' defense where they weren't there a couple rounds ago. Same punches coming at him, but now they're landing sometimes.
Straight right hand continues to land for Jorge Linares.
That happens, Max, when people like Luke get comfortable and the fighters start realizing what's going on. He gets his rhythm, he gets the timing, because Linares is very fast. So you have to get used to that rhythm before you can catch him with those counter shots or with the lead shots. So it took him a couple of rounds to get used to the speed of Linares.
The difference between the good champions and the pound-for-pound fighters are that they stay consistently dominant. So the question here is, not only does Linares win the fight, he's winning the fight, but can he stay consistent?
A good body shot by Luke Campbell.
And this was a round in which CompuBox found Campbell doubling Linares in terms of the number of landed power punches. As you see Lindsey Campbell, the wife of Luke Campbell, seated there to the left, and Jillian Campbell on the right. One of the reasons why it took so long for Campbell to turn professional after his lengthy amateur career, Lindsey, who was at that time girlfriend, fiance, wasn't all that excited about the idea of him turning pro. She knew that this was a tough way to make a living and that there could be some damage in it. But at the end of the day, how do you tell an Olympic gold medalist he's not going to turn pro in his chosen sport?
Okay, go jump. Keep your hand up, keep your hand up. Try to pair your eyes, okay? Try to pair your eyes. Jump.
CompuBox numbers through round 4 favor Campbell. He has thrown more and landed more. But of course, Linares is landing the harder shots. He was the one who knocked Campbell down in round number 2.
I don't know how this isn't 3 rounds to 1 right now, but Harold gave Campbell the first round, so maybe it's 2-2 with the extra point for the knockdown for Linares.
Campbell fought very well in that last round.
Did. I gave it to him. By the way,
no further bleeding since the second round for what was billed and has been billed to us as the first cut of Luke Campbell's career. It's right on the right cheek, directly under his eye.
Turning into a really good fight. The British fans, by the way, singing that Ricky Hatton song for Luke Campbell. It means if Campbell can win or just even lose in a really good fight, those fans travel, as Ricky Hatton showed.
We were all desperate to hear that song again. Hard right hand by Linares, momentarily drives Campbell back. Sets up again.
And of course the danger, as you mentioned earlier, Jim, for Linares is not just that he's been chinny in the past, but will he cut?
Right now, Linares has to stay very disciplined because it's very hard to find an opening on the young southpaw. He's taller, he's got more range, and you have to pay a price for everything you do to him.
Linares needs to be careful to remain busy against Campbell. He piled up some numbers in the last couple of rounds and is looking to be the more active fighter as the fight goes on.
Yeah, what Linares, especially in the second and third round, had success with was applying pressure, forcing Campbell to punch to keep him off, and then catching and countering Campbell's shots. He's gotten away from that a little bit. Catching the shots on the gloves and countering with hooks like that.
Good hook by Linares, a good counter by Luke.
.45 seconds to go in round number 5. Linares has landed a couple of hard right hands in this round. Just misses with a big uppercut there.
And ran into a good right hook that time.
Yeah, that's really dangerous to throw the uppercut from too far away. That's how you get knocked out.
Now he throws it to the body.
You grabbed his head, actually. You all right? Am I good?
I think Jack Reese may have thought that body shot was a tiny bit low. Allows the action to continue. Another straight right hand shoots for Jorge Linares.
Step away clean.
May have almost been a headbutt right there.
Linares needs to be very careful of headbutts. And right now, I'm seeing just a tiny droplet of blood on the bridge of the nose of Jorge Linares. And that is one of the places where he was cut against Antonio DeMarco in the fight in which he bled so profusely and so dramatically that they had to stop a fight in which he was leading 9 rounds to 1.
Oye, champ, confident in me. You need to hit him more. If you want to win, you need to hit him more. Don't wait for he controlling you. Okay, vamos, go ahead, jab, 1, 2, move active. Okay?
You can't stop using that jab. You can't stop moving your head. And you can't stop. Don't go backwards. You got to push him forward. And 3 punches. And if you do that, the fight is yours.
He see Linares land a straight right lead followed by a beautiful left hook that may have rocked Luke Campbell a little bit. The left hook was more of a slap, but Luke Campbell was definitely off balance right there. I don't know if the hook did it or if it was the power from the right hand, but it was a very good 2-punch combination by Jorge Linares.
Mapiak's numbers pretty even through round 5. Campbell throwing a lot more, though, than Linares. Linares landing at a higher percentage as they come to round 6.
Well, you mentioned how Campbell needed a few rounds to get the timing down. It started in the 4th round, I think, when Campbell started going to the body. He started finding holes in Linares' defense. But why does that happen with Linares and continue to happen where he is so crisp early and then cracks start to form later? Why isn't he timing the other guy?
Well, he is timing the other guy, Mac, but in this fight, he had to take all the chances because he's the shorter fighter. So you're going to find cracks because he has to open up to try to get to Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell is tall, so Luke Campbell is just waiting for the opportunity or setting it up like that with the long punches. He's the taller fighter. He's supposed to be the guy that opens Linares up more than Linares can open him up. Because Linares has to reach to open him up. He doesn't have to reach. See that? And becomes very discouraging because see how far Linares has to travel to land a jab? Well, Luke can land a jab and stay back off of Linares.
But he was picking those shots off and countering with hard, crisp shots in the second and third round.
That's because Luke Campbell had not gotten the rhythm down pat yet. Now he has rhythm down pat. It takes a couple rounds to catch on to a guy's rhythm when you've never been in there with a guy that fast.
Campbell landing a right hook, crowd oohs and ahs. Campbell is adopting a strategy here in round number 6 that makes Linares do most of the work. Standing in the center of the ring, pivoting, watching Linares move around him, use his feet, and Linares firing punches, lands the right hand upstairs. Campbell comes back.
But now Campbell's starting to pick off some of Linares' shots, and you see why he won a gold medal. He deserves a lot of credit. He looked outclassed early and has fought his way back into this fight.
Of course, his heart will be the thing that wins in this fight if he wins it, Max, because he's definitely not the boxer that Linares is yet, but he is a good boxer with a lot of potential. And it will take his heart to help him win this fight.
He's certainly showing that he's a fighter. There's a left hook to the liver by Linares. Got it right under the right arm of Luke Campbell. And those body shots could help him to slow Campbell down.
And Campbell's one loss against Mendy. Mendy was aggressive and disrupted Campbell's timing and stayed aggressive. Wound up dropping and beating Campbell for Campbell's only pro loss. And here Linares is remaining aggressive.
And he had to stay confident. Linares.
Well, there's a challenge to staying confident against Luke Campbell because he's a very big 135-pound fighter. Big for the division. Halfway through. At the Forum in Los Angeles. Stay tuned later tonight for a replay of my show, The Fight Game, for reaction to and analysis of Canelo Golovkin, plus our story of Pat Manuel, once an aspiring female fighter, now boxing as a man. Tuesday night, tune into the next Real Sports as Ryan Gumbel profiles 3-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton.
If he hit him uppercut, only step back. Only step back, he can doing nothing about it. That when he hit him uppercut, you make it out 1-2, back it again. When you be in your distance, don't wait that he hit you first. No, man. You first. Keep your hand up. Champ, bump, champ. He made the victory, champ.
That left hook, you gotta turn it. You gotta go with it. All right? Breathe, clean yourself. Go, fuck him up.
Round 7 begins, scheduled 12. It's been a pretty even fight so far. The big difference being Jorge Linares' knockdown of Luke Campbell in the second round with the right hand. Harold Letterman, how do you have it scored halfway through?
Okay, Jim, I think it's a very even fight. I got it 3 rounds apiece, 57-56, Jorge Linares. You know, he gets an extra point for the knockdown in round 2, so he's got a 1-point advantage. You know, Jorge Linares is throwing, one shot all the time. If he'd only double up on his punches, I think he'd be doing a lot better. But he tends to get inside and throw one shot. I wish the heck he'd double and triple the shots. Anyway, 3 rounds apiece, 57-56, Linares.
Good left hook by Linares.
I got Linares up 3 points. I think
straight left hand to the body by Linares, and that reflects the fact that you gave him the first round, whereas Harold gave the first round to Campbell.
Right. So 4 rounds to 2 plus the knockdown, but it's a fight. It's a good one.
Yes, it is.
Crowd getting their money's worth here at the Forum in Los Angeles. Excellent jab there by Luke Campbell.
Linares has become increasingly easy to hit with the jab as the fight's worn on.
Good right hand by Linares.
That has been the main weapon all night long, and he sticks another right hand over the top. Oh, there's a hard right hook by Campbell.
Roy, you can see in the really good boxing by both guys the Cuban influence.
That's what I said. Both of them have Cuban trainers, and what you really see is the beautiful footwork. Linares has great footwork coming forward, while Luke has great footwork circling and going back.
But also the intelligence with which they're fighting.
Yes.
They're both thinking very quickly.
Very smart boxing moves. No foolishness, no wasted effort.
World has been waiting and hoping to see whether Jorge Linares will take a fight or get a fight against Mikey Garcia, if in fact Mikey Garcia is still interested in fighting at 135 pounds. At either 135 or 140, I now realize I'd like to see Mikey Garcia against Luke Campbell. That would be a very interesting matchup because of Campbell's height and southpaw style.
And Mikey being such a big puncher.
Yeah, and then
bigger puncher than Linares.
Certainly at 135, Mikey is a devastating puncher. At 140, it remains to be seen, but he carried it up from 30 to 35 for sure.
There's the straight right hand landing again for Linares. He's done a lovely job on the cut in Campbell's corner. It's been absolutely closed ever since bleeding in the second round. Good body shot with the right hand by Campbell.
There was a counter-punching opportunity upstairs for Linares, and he didn't see it.
No, he doesn't punch behind Campbell's finishing punches.
He tried it there, but he's backing up.
Close fight continues. And there is Jorge Linares' mother, here from Venezuela, and of course, she has traveled a great deal in her life as a boxing mother, watching her son fight in Japan, in England, in the United States, all around the world, really.
You got to use the combinations, otherwise he's going to catch you with those hands. You understand how this is? Keep throwing your keep your left hand up. That's where that right hand is coming in. That right hook is coming in. But there's no reason for you to catch those, all right? Yes. Now double hook and the left as well. Why not? Okay. And you work that uppercut. Work.
You hit him. Oye, water, man, vamos. Out. Head out.
Cutman in Luke Campbell's corner is Mick Williamson. He gets credit for helping Campbell make it into the 7th round of a fight in which he was knocked down and cut in the 2nd round.
It sounds odd to say it about a guy who's held belts in multiple weight divisions, as Jorge Linares has, but you start to get the feeling right about now that it's not just if he wants to win the fight, which would be a good idea for him, but if he wants to start separating himself from other good boxers and even belt holders and champions in other weight divisions, he's got to start really applying himself right now.
Yeah, but it's not that easy when you got such a task as a tall Luke Campbell in front of you, Max. I mean, it's easy for us to say, but that's not so easy when you got an assignment like this.
I'm not saying it's easy.
It may not happen.
If it was easy, anyone, everyone would.
Well, what I'm saying is it may not happen that way because of Luke being as good as he is. It's not easy to separate yourself from a guy who's usually an Olympian and a pretty good prospect as a professional.
But there is a logical urgency for Linares at age 32 with 45 fights already on the dossier. He seems to be very disciplined here tonight in pursuing this chance to elevate himself once again by beating Luke Campbell. But he's in a really good, tough fight. And I just wonder sometimes if Linares, because of his background, because of the difficulties he's had with both his chin and his skin, is a little too cautious, a little too careful sometimes, not using all of that fluidity and skill.
Well, let's point out, though, he's neither been cut nor hurt in this fight. And it's anyone's guess what the scorecards read right now.
That means the margin for error is small.
And this is after cutting and dropping his opponent early in the fight.
Hard right hand again by Linares. Right hook by Campbell as they traded in the center of the ring.
Another good right hand by Linares.
Sticking that straight right hand all night long.
Good body shot by Campbell.
1-2 combination upstairs by Campbell. Kind of a seesaw fight. Harold Letterman saw Linares winning the last round. I've got Campbell winning this one. They go back and forth with each other.
That's what two great boxers do, Jim.
You got me, I got to get you.
That's exactly right.
Listen, heading into this thing, it was the lightweight champion of the world versus a former Olympic gold medalist. Should be a good one.
With two Cuban trainers in the corner. Should be a great one.
Has been so far.
That was two good body shots by Campbell.
Everybody was excited about the combat last Saturday night between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. I got to say, technically, this has been a better fight than that. Good left hook by Linares. Both fighters landed in that round. Make sure you stay tuned following the conclusion of Linares Campbell for a short film featuring exclusive behind-the-scenes sights and sounds, as well as all the thrilling action from last Saturday night's middleweight mega fight in Las Vegas. And if you missed any part of the rebroadcast of Canelo Golovkin earlier tonight, you can catch the fight in its entirety tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And once again, you can see the fight game again tonight with analysis of what happened in Canelo versus Golovkin. CompuBox numbers now through the 8th round. Linares landing 86 out of 238 total. Campbell 99 out of 323 total. So those numbers figuring just a little bit in Campbell's favor.
You see Campbell using numbers with a good body shot followed by a 1-2 to the head. Great combination by Campbell. And long range. And see how far they are apart after that happens.
Lindsey Campbell, wife of Luke, responding aggressively to the fighter that she wasn't sure she wanted to become a professional fighter, but she's certainly rooting for him.
Good hook by Campbell.
Yep, excellent counter hook by Campbell as Linares was coming in. Another straight right hand up the middle of the guard for Jorge Linares.
Yes, beautiful shot.
Runner all night.
Yes, it was. And Linares tried that earlier in the fight, Roy. He hadn't gone to it in several rounds. Step around, left hook to the body.
Good hook again by Campbell. See, that's the thing you got to realize, Max. Every time he advances, Campbell makes him pay with that right hook. That's what a tall southpaw is supposed to do.
Almost like a check hook.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. He almost like that's exactly what it is.
That's right. But he's anticipating Linares jumping in.
You said before the fight, Roy, that Campbell's style might be difficult for Linares. It has proven exactly that.
Of course it is.
Those long arms give Campbell a chance to land body shots that otherwise might not get there.
And it gives him a chance to land on Linares yet be out of reach for Linares at the same time.
Yeah. I said almost, Roy, because it's not like he's just checking to see if he's there. He knows he's coming.
So Linares has to find ways to step up inside of Campbell's arms, which he has done pretty frequently throughout the bout.
But he has to avoid the punishment when he does it. Good hook by Linares.
Again. Campbell's increasingly been able to impose his size in this fight. And now he really stakes out the middle of the ring now.
And Max, reading they call a check hook, you see what he's doing right there? Then you checking to see if he's coming or if he's still there. So whether you know he's coming or not, when you think he's coming,
check, yeah.
Step back and check for him.
Campbell is a lot rangier and more versatile than the English fighter whom Linares beat in each of his last 2 outings, Anthony Crolla. Crolla, essentially a hard body puncher and a durable grinder, didn't have the technical skills necessary to deal with the fluidity and the speed of Jorge Linares.
But look at Campbell, the way this fight started, outclassed, outsped, outcrafted, dropped, cut. Has not cut Linares, has not dropped Linares, but now it's Campbell staking out the middle of the ring, and it's Linares basically forced to the periphery.
That second round knockdown feels like a long time ago. And Campbell digs the hard left hand into the middle of Linares' belly. And Linares back confidently.
Linares has to go back down to his body some too. He's kind of abandoned his body attack.
After this round, at the beginning of the next round, we'll get Harold Letterman's unofficial scorecard one more time in what appears to be a very close fight.
Mom, give me the word. Vamos, that's how.
No.
Vamos, champ.
Water, no, you can't put water down the truck.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So the water gets wiped up.
You are doing good, but you need to hit it a little more. Okay.
Put that behind his neck.
A little more.
Yeah. Lay forward now.
It's coming 10, no? It's coming 10?
Yeah.
It's coming 10, no?
10, number 10.
Okay. Vamos, look. Vamos, champ. Vamos. You are doing good, but only you need to hit it a little more. Don't let that hit it first. No. If you are in distance, you need to hit it, but not hit it going in front. Papa, only for he come and you hit it back. Okay? Okay, champ. The jab.
Here we see Linares come in and a beautiful straight right hand right down the middle. The only thing wrong with that, Jim, is he didn't go to the body right afterwards. But it was a beautiful straight right hand off of the left hook right down the middle.
Didn't go to the body because he didn't want to give Luke Campbell a chance to counter. And we are finished with 9 rounds. The 3 rounds left to go. Harold Lederman, how do you have it as we enter the 10th?
86, 86, 84. 5 rounds to 4, Jorge Linares. I thought that he won the 9th round. He landed the cleaner, harder shots, and that's what's given him the lead. But like you said, very, very close fight. Campbell is certainly in this fight. In a lot of the rounds, Campbell just outpunched him, you know. But be as it may, Linares has got 1 extra point for the knockdown in round 2. 5 rounds to 4, Jorge Linares.
Keep in mind that if the judges gave good right hook by Campbell upstairs. If the judges gave either of the 2 recent rounds that Harold gave to Linares to Campbell instead,
it'd be an even fight. Even fight. Yep. Thank you, Max. 2 minutes to go in round number 10.
And if they gave them both to Campbell, he's up.
Stop. No more punch. Let each other go. Let each other out. Turn around.
Tell you what, both guys are also very well conditioned.
There are 2 California judges, and the 3rd judge is from Scotland.
No one punch. Let each other go.
Linares has had success, Roy, when he steps to his left, steps around and throws the hook to the body, but he hasn't done it a whole lot.
Nope.
What's he worried about there? Because he'd step out of range of the right hook and of the straight left hand.
No, anytime he makes contact, he's in range for the right hook. That's the problem.
Because he's going to be moving into it.
That's right.
But if he gets that left foot on the outside, then he'd be out of range.
No, he's the shorter fighter, Max. Anytime he steps in there, he's still in range of the right hook. He had to come forward to make contact. Anytime he can put his hands on Luke Campbell's face, he's in range to be caught with that left hook. I don't care which side he goes down.
We've got a microphone on Luke Campbell's trainer, Jorge Rubio. He's been very active in trying to shout instructions the last couple of rounds. Let's see what we're getting out of Jorge Rubio.
Move, Luke, move. Move, Luke, move. Viria, move. Keep your hand up, Vamos, you first, Luke, you first. Vamos, vamos. Esa. Move. Jab and go back. Move your leg. You first, Luke. You first.
Rubio asking Campbell to jab and go back. Meanwhile, Jorge Linares stepped forward and landed 1, 2, 3 straight right hands.
Campbell got the jab untracked earlier in this round.
Another straight right hand for Linares.
Campbell's jab led to some good stuff upstairs, and Linares took the play away a little bit late.
11. Only 2 rounds. Mira. Now, to make it that this round, you need to be smart. Okay, this is 11 for you. Be ready for the number 12. Okay, keep your hand up, jab. He make it 50 before he go back. When he go back, you separate a little. Only make it 50 before he go back. Okay, he don't know go back. When he make it that, turn around and hit it.
Last round we saw Linares landing the straight right. This round we see Campbell landing the straight left right down the middle.
Well, Lindsey Campbell living and dying 1,000 deaths over there. Through the first 10 rounds of the fight, now we go to the so-called championship rounds as we get to the 11th.
That Campbell jab in the middle of that round when we were listening to the trainer and got on track like that. And it led to some good action upstairs for him. And Linares, he answered with a straight right, but look at that. That right jab from Campbell is starting to dominate the fight.
Causing Linares all kind of problems.
And once again, that was a difficult round to score, but Harold Lederman gave it to Linares, which gives him a 3-point lead on Harold's unofficial scorecard. The official scorecards, we don't know. Could go either way. Good left-hand body shot there by Linares.
Early in the fight, it was Linares landing all the clean shots. But over the last, after the third round, really, and increasingly, the clean shots upstairs are being landed by Campbell.
And one adjustment I've seen Linares make, Roy, is to bring that right hand down to the body several times in the last couple of rounds.
And that's where he needed to do, Jim. He has to throw it to the body some to make Campbell look for a low, then he can land it high. But throwing it to the head all the time, you're never going to hit Campbell that way.
So that was a proper tactical response by Linares. Campbell not as active with the jab in this round. Now he starts to get going with a straight left hand.
Good jab to the body by Linares.
Linares trying to set up the straight right hand again. Campbell doing a good job of staying away in this round, but staying away only helps him if he happens to be ahead on the scorecards.
Might be.
Might not be. Doesn't know for sure.
Yet to be seen.
I mean, again, how many shots that we can see have clearly landed upstairs? Who's landed most of them? I see most of the clean headshots landed by Campbell in this round.
Well, he's fighting this round as though he thinks he's ahead in the fight.
Yep.
Because he has not been aggressive enough to really score against Linares, and he's leaving the door open for a right hand or two like that by Linares to win him the round.
Good body shot.
Linares fighting with a little more confidence now. But I still see that Campbell jab, especially early, but even just in the last 30 seconds.
Big CompuBox edge for Campbell, and power punches landed. Linares has landed more jabs.
Yeah, like a lot of Linares' shots are partially blocked, but that jab is landing, in an obvious way.
I just didn't see much offense from Campbell in that round.
I agree with you.
He fought as though he was way ahead in the fight.
I agree with you.
Look.
He may have been out busy.
Put it strong now, okay? Put it low, balls down. Put it balls. This is your round. If you win convincent, you are winning. Go. Vamos, champ. Vamos, champ. Vamos, go. Last round. Put it you hard. Put it you sacrifice.
Last round.
Okay. Put it sacrifice. Don't keep in front. Look, don't keep in front. You need to hit it first. If you are...
Hey, come on. This fight is yours. But if you finish nicely, move your head. He's getting in with that jab. Well, you're going straight. Don't go in straight. Move your head. And when you avoid the punch, pop him with some shots. Come on, clean him up, brother.
Jabs through round 11. Linares 57 out of 193. Landing 30% of his jabs. That's an exceptionally high land rate for the jab. Campbell, 38 out of 198. Throwing more than Linares. Round 12 in a very close fight. Or at least the way we see it. Harold Edelman has a little cushion for Jorge Linares.
And I know why many would give that round to Linares. And even I do. But if you're scoring very carefully, you also may not give it to him.
Now Campbell is getting active again. This is a different mindset from Campbell now as this round begins. Pumping his jab. Taking a hard right hand as he lands a body shot with the left. And another straight right hand by Linares. It's been his bread and butter throughout the fight.
That was the reappearance of the early rounds Linares, where he's stepping in range, having a really tight defense and countering off his defense crisply upstairs.
Yep, his coach told him that last round. He said, after you make him miss, pop him. And that's exactly what just happened.
That's the Donald Curry from earlier. He went away for about 6 or 7 rounds.
Oh, good shot by Luke Campbell.
Donald Curry's first loss was against an English southpaw named Lloyd Hunnigan, who was a rough fighter, rougher than Campbell.
And unorthodox.
Very. Very. Kind of guy you didn't want to see coming.
Linares' right hand put a welt on Campbell's left side of his forehead in this round.
Oh, good hook.
Good left hook by Linares.
I like these
Set that up beautifully.
Yes. This is the fighter we saw in the first 3 rounds.
I love his focus tonight.
Linares looks happy again now, as though he likes the way he's fighting, with 1 minute to go in the fight.
Still has to be careful though, Jim. Luke is still dangerous.
Conditioning is so important in a sport like this, where you've got to be able to put out in the 12th round the same way you did in the first. Left hook landed for Linares upstairs.
And the real difference here is his defense is tighter, and he's using it to create his offense. Linares is.
Fighting as though he knew he needed a great 12th round.
Look, that's the complete defense again.
Yep.
The legs, the upper body movement, and the hand position.
And the legs are what we're missing from the defense before.
Linares with a very confident look on his face now as we come to the last 30 seconds of the fight. Campbell showboating a little bit, trying to distract Linares. Set himself up to land something big. Linares showboating back. Okay. You wave your arms, watch my feet. Good right hand by Linares.
That could have been a critical round for Linares to taking control of the fight.
Showed a lot of energy in this round and seemed to win it going away. And let's very quickly take a look back at the moment in round 2, which could prove the difference in the fight. If in fact it is scored as closely as we suspect may be the case. Here's a left hand for Campbell. Now watch this. Straight right hand down the pipe by Linares. First knockdown and the first cut of Luke Campbell's career. Mick Williamson did a great job in Campbell's corner, closing that cut and preventing any bleeding the rest of the way. And it's the kind of fight, Roy, in which really there's not going to be any loser because both guys performed very well.
Both guys performed very well. Both guys look like they deserve to be at the top of the division. It's a fight we enjoyed watching and would probably love to watch again.
Harold, I can see that you have it 116, 111 for Linares with a big rally down the stretch. Harold Letterman giving the last 4 rounds of the fight to Linares. Harold, why don't you tell us about the 3 official judges who are scoring the fight?
Okay, Jim. No, they brought in a neutral judge, which, you know, I thought was really good. You know, Victor Lockwood from Scotland. You know, you got 2 California judges, Zachary Young, an excellent judge from California, and Max DeLuca from Tustin, California, who I consider one of the best judges in the entire world. So 2 California judges, 1 judge from Scotland. It looks like, you know, they have a real even group of judges. So that's good.
All right, thank you, Harold. Another look at Linares, his face unmarked. Never did open a cut on the bridge of the nose. I guess the blood that I saw there earlier probably was Luke Campbell's blood.
That's what it looks like.
And there's Campbell with that souvenir that he'll take back to England. Cut under the right eye off of a very sharp right hand by Jorge Linares. Two spirited fighters, 2 trainers from Cuba. You can't get any better, right, Roy?
No, you cannot.
So we had great craft on display, great physical talent. Campbell, who appears to have an interesting future in the sport. Linares, who has a fascinating past and a lordly present. And we are waiting for the decision, which in this instance always seems to portend something unusual. When you have to wait this long for the scores, the chances go up that you're going to hear something unusual or unpredictable. Campbell now waving to British fans on his side of the ring. And now Linares goes to Campbell's side of the ring and waves at the same fans. And Joe Martinez stands by with the official scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Victor Loughlin scores at 115-113 Campbell. Max DeLuca, 114-113 Linares. Zach Young has it 115-112 for your winner by split decision. And still WBC Ring Magazine Lightweight Champion of the World, El Niño de Oro, Jorge Linares!
So not terribly shockingly, the Scottish judge scores it for Campbell. And the two California judges score it for Linares, and it's a split decision victory for the favorite and the still reigning champion in the division, Jorge Linares. And we'll take a look at final CompuBox numbers in the fight, which I believe ultimately are going to favor Campbell. Total punches landed, look at that. 140, 141. Campbell throwing 110 more, so he lands at slightly lower connect percentage. Linares a little bit sharper and more accurate through much of the bout, not all. Power punches, Campbell gets the edge there, and a lot of that has to do with his focus on the body. Every body shot that he lands is a, quote, power punch, and that's part of the reason why he wound up landing more power punches than Linares, along with, of course, the fact that he threw 100 more of them. So Linares lands at a much higher connect percentage, 39-33. Jabs, Linares gets the edge there, landing 64 out of 218, and again, 29% is an exceptionally high percentage to land for landing your jab. And now Max Kellerman stands by with the winner.
Congratulations, Jorge, on a big win against an Olympic gold medalist. First 3 rounds, you looked so sharp. It looked like you were outclassing him. And then he somehow fought his way back into the fight. What changed as the fight progressed past the 3rd round?
Bueno, primero que nada, buenas noches a todos los que están aquí presentes. Good night, everyone. Un rival fuerte, un rival que todo el mundo decía que era muy fácil, pero realmente no lo era porque por algo es campeón olímpico.
He's a tough opponent. You know, many people said he was very easy, but for some reason he's an Olympic champion.
Los primeros rounds, maravilloso, me sentí súper bien. De hecho, hasta el 12 round, hasta el último round me sentí muy bien. Solo que en el cuarto quise boxear un poquito más para no caer en su terreno, porque lo que quería nada más era esperarme y poder lanzar los golpes más largos.
You know, truthfully, I fought very well. I fought very well to the 12th, and I think at the 5th round, I started to box him a little bit because I didn't want to get hurt.
And then in the 12th round, after a tough fight between the 4th and the 11th, there came the Jorge Linares from the first 3 rounds again, and you seemed to seal the win there. What did you do? What changed in the 12th?
Yo creo que la conexión que tengo con mi entrenador, hicimos un trabajo excelente. Sabíamos que se iba a caer, no se sabía en qué round, porque realmente lo que quería era pegarle a la derecha y se la conecté. Pero aguantó y en el 10º hacia adelante me dijo mi entrenador, suéltale los perros, sal a boxearle, a pegarle y a robarte los últimos rounds.
You know, truthfully, we have a great connection with my team, with my trainer, and basically in the 10th I wanted to knock him out, but I knew it was going to go for the distance. But then from 10 on out, I knew I had to let the dogs out, and that's what I did.
Quickly, who would you want next?
Mikey García, si vas a 135 o si me toca subir a 140, le subo.
Mikey Garcia, if he goes to 135, and if he needs to go to 140, I'll go to 140.
Thanks, champ. And quickly, wanted to talk to you, Luke, because here you are introducing yourself to the American audience, an Olympic gold medalist. You looked outclassed to me in the first 3 rounds. You were dropped, you were cut on foreign soil, and you got up and took control of the fight somehow. How'd you do it?
No one can ever doubt my heart. I thought, yeah, I got off to a rocky start. He hit me with a nice clean shot in the 2nd round. Caught me on the eye, cut it. I wasn't dazed or anything like that. It just a nice shot that put me on my back. From then I had double vision in one eye for the rest of the fight. But from then I thought I outclassed him.
You think you won the fight?
I thought I won the fight. He's a great champion, but I thought I outclassed him. I didn't think he was landing any shots whatsoever, and I was catching him with all the clean shots.
I think you have a legitimate point of view there. It was fun to watch your work. Congratulations. Hope to see you again. Jim?
All right, so at the end of the day, Roy Jones, one of those scorecards had Linares winning by 1 point. That means The knockdown won him the fight. That's why it's a good idea to knock your opponent down.
Well, that's why it's always a good idea to knock your opponent down. And not only that, that gave him kind of momentum in the early part of the fight. Had he not had that momentum in the early part of the fight, he may have found himself on the bad side of a bad decision or a close decision tonight. So that knockdown definitely proved to be something good for him, and that's why we like to see knockdowns in professional boxing, and it would have did us much better had we seen a knockdown last weekend.
Yeah, another thing we don't always talk about that much is stamina, and Linares showed stamina in the closing rounds of the fight. That helped him. Meanwhile, Roy Jones, big announcement yesterday in the world of boxing, or excuse me, 2 days ago, Thursday, big announcement in the world of boxing, to the shock of most of us. The #1 pound-for-pound fighter on most lists and the light heavyweight champion of the world, Andre Ward, announced his retirement. Your response?
Well, it was a beautiful career, a picture-perfect career. You couldn't have asked for a better career from a better guy. Andre Ward has been everything that you could ask for in boxing. He was the model citizen. He fought all comers. He defeated all comers. You can't ask for a better career than what he had. Now, with that being said, it was very difficult for him to get up for anybody else because he's beaten everybody that was close to him that would fight him. So what else does he have to prove? What else left is there for him to get anxious about? He couldn't get anxious anymore. Anytime you can't get anxious anymore, it's probably time to quit. That was a great thing for him, a great job. Congratulations, and on one hell of a career.
Tremendous career. Hasn't lost in 20 years. You conducted the farewell interview on ESPN's First Take. How surprised were you at what Andre chose to do?
Well, I spoke to him the night before, Jim, as I know you did, and it was shocking. And I was very proud of him. Don't mean to seem condescending or patronizing to an athlete, a great athlete, but he's one of a handful of fighters in the history of boxing to leave on top, particularly after probably his greatest win. Life is funny. This guy hadn't lost a fight since he was 12, 13, 14 in the amateurs, won a gold medal, turned pro, was routinely unfairly criticized for being really one of the most courageous fighters I've ever seen, in the sense that Andre Ward always had the courage of his convictions. It's easy for trainers like Virgil Hunter to say, hey, do X, Y, and Z, and it sounds great. Everyone has a plan until they get hit. Andre stuck with his plan even when he got hit, and if he needed to go to a plan B, he would do that too. He beat every man he faced as a professional. And just when he finally got recognition, because Floyd Mayweather had left and he had beaten Kovalev, Andre did, as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he had easy money and also big money lined up ahead of him, he walked away. One of the most interesting careers in the history of boxing, and a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, and it was a pleasure to cover him.
Indeed. All right, so this World Championship Boxing telecast now comes to an end, but it is not the end of boxing programming here on HBO tonight, because immediately now, as we leave the air, we're going to take you to a 10-minute look back at the sights and sounds of last weekend in Las Vegas. It was a tremendous weekend surrounding the giant pay-per-view extravaganza between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. Stay tuned now to revisit that weekend, and then stick around for the fight game immediately following. Thanks for being with us tonight on World Championship Boxing.